Homosexual?
Some point. Huh?
Are you homosexual?
A what?
I'm homosexual.
What's that?
For those of you who have already removed your breast, I don't know how you're going to do it. You have removed your breast already. Aaron Walford, welcome to the studio. Your number one African's YouTube channel, all the way to the United States of America. Donald Trump, Charlie. And this guy, he will not stop amazing us. He's actually giving a surprise offer to an ex-space fire commander who says he was fired when he opened up or he shared his opinion or view on the DEI matters in the military. DEI simply means diversity, equity, and inclusion. These are terminologies, or this simply means giving or sharing an equal opportunity for everybody, or putting everybody on the same platform to enjoy fair or equal opportunity. And so these are terminologies that are actually used by organizations. So today, this gentleman is saying that he has been fired. So during one of Trump's rally, whilst he was campaigning for the presidency, this gentleman came up to actually also ask some questions that Mr. President, this is my state, this is what happened, and I've been fired. But I want to suggest also that is a precedent. You reinstate this, or you establish new institutions in the military force that will actually take care of things like this to make sure that there will not be low productivity or military men and women getting ready for war.
Thank you, Mr. President. We now have time for one last question. So our last question.
Make this a good one.
Our last one comes from Matthew. Matthew? He was an F-15 pilot. I won't hold that against you.
Here, I got it. Mr. President, first off, I want to speak on behalf of everyone here and say thank you for taking time tonight to speak with our troops.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We got a lot of good-looking men in this audience, don't we, huh? And a lot of good-looking women also, by the way. Thank you very much. Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to revisit something you've talked about already. My name is Matt Lohmeyer. I was an Air Force F-15 pilot, and I was a commander in your newly created U.S. Space Force. I am also the first veteran of the Space Force because under the Biden-Harris regime, I was fired from my command and lost my pension for criticizing DEI trainings that were rampant in the military. Those trainings are still dividing our troops, and thank you for saying you would fire those few woke generals who are a big problem.
They're gone.
I'm going to suggest that it might, in fact, require ongoing oversight and a persistent, consistent, watchful eye within the Pentagon to ensure this monster never returns to the Defense Department. Will you consider establishing a special task force, office, or position to ensure that these monsters never return to the Defense Department?
You know what I'll do? And I'm pretty good at this stuff. Sometimes you get it wrong. I'm going to put you on that task force. I think it's good. Not going to do better than him. I'll put you on. Make sure you give the name. Thank you. Beautiful. Right? I have your approval.
Yes, sir.
I have your approval. We're not going to get better than him. You're right about it. You're right. 100%. Thank you.
Why you share this concern is simply because when someone goes under a major surgery and goes under, as a matter of fact, a transgender process, these people, they are not their real self again, because these people are also given equal opportunities in the military. And this man is saying that DEI gave this opportunity to them. So by so doing, some people who are men are playing the role of a woman because they say, I don't feel like a man again. I feel like a woman. I don't feel like a woman again. I feel like a man.
LGBTQ.
How do you feel if your fellow man has now become a woman and has put on that woman organ and it says that now I'm a woman, so you go pack up a panel and then
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
hey Charlie, and a woman now is carrying a man's organ and says that now I am a man. These people are in the military. He says no, this can be in the military. There are certain strengths that we demand. There are certain qualities. But when people go under major surgery, they don't have their natural strength or energy again. They have certain weaknesses, like limitations on lifting heavy things, how they can do things is limited, which is actually true. But because of the DEI regulations that are passed in the organization, it's affecting the military. So readiness for war is no more there. So this man voiced out and he was fired by the former administration, which is the administration of Joe Biden, the former president of the United States. So during one Trump's rally, he came and Trump says that, hey, look, we'll reinstate you and I promise you'll be one of the leaders in the base. And the gentleman's name is Matthew Lumet. He is a lieutenant colonel and he was fired without a concern about his family, about how his life after then will be. Let's go and watch a little biography of Matthew Lumet to know that he has actually not got there on silver platter, but he paid the price through to that position before he was fired.
DEI in the military has our next guest, a former Space Force commander, Lieutenant Colonel, up in arms after he says he was fired and lost his pension for speaking out. After serving in the military for over a decade, Matt Lohmeyer ripped DEI training for dividing troops, decreasing morale, and ultimately affecting military readiness, which prompted action against him.
So, his biography tells it all. You have watched, he has paid his way through from state to state, state to state, state to get to where he is. He has actually paid the price. And then you kill this gentleman out because he voiced out. I thought the American law system is a democratic one, so people are free to share their opinions and views. But sometimes when it's going against them, they do the autocratic way. It says that, hey, look, I'm the number one gentleman of the land. He cannot do that against me. We passed the law, so hey, out. Why? Because during Joe Biden's administration, these people tend to accept transgender in all areas because of DEI. Well, to their opinion, it's good, but to my opinion, I see a little bit different. What is your opinion? What's your view? Share under the comment section. This gentleman, Matthew Lumet, actually deserves to actually be reinstated back. And Trump, thumbs up for that. You care about humanity. You care about the greatness of America. And you even care and love all the transgenders. That is why you are trying to put them right, because a good leader, a good father, a good parent. In fact, you are a father to the United States of America. You want things to be right. Thumbs up again for that. In fact, if there was 6-star, we have 6-star in rating, right? That's the highest point. Charlie, take your 6-star over there.
Lieutenant Colonel, thank you for joining us. We were just talking in the commercial break there. You weren't just fired from your position, you were also pushed out of the Space Force altogether. You lost your career over this.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately for the American people and for all of the men and women in uniform, it's been considered for a number of years now to be politically partisan to speak up against diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. And of course, anyone who's looked into this matter knows it shouldn't necessarily be considered a partisan issue. I wasn't interested in being politically partisan while I wore the uniform of the country and was in command of a Space Force unit. But of course, senior military leaders, especially under the current administration, decided that because of the climate of fear that we had created for ourselves, they ought to treat my criticism of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives as partisan and quote unquote hold me accountable for speaking out against it.
No, absolutely. One thing on my fact sheet here that I found really interesting, there's a study, I believe it was by Arizona State University, and basically they found that part of the policy is that you're mandated or required or encouraged to tell on others if they have a negative opinion of DEI. Did you experience that?
In fact, come to think of it, I did experience that. A fellow commander informed me that they're aware of my kind of politics and that they'd be happy to turn me into the base commander if I continued to privately criticize our diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. But this problem has grown far beyond what I experienced personally and professionally in the military workplace. That report that you've just mentioned from Arizona State University's Center for American Institutions specifically mentions some of the things that are happening currently at our military service academies. My own alma mater, the U.S. Air Force Academy, has diversity and inclusion cadet officers who wear a special insignia within their cadet squadrons. They wear purple braided ropes over the shoulders, and they report to a separate chain of command other than their military chain of command relating to diversity and inclusion issues. It reminds one of Soviet political commissars that have been established both in the Soviet Union and in other Marxist revolutionary efforts throughout the last century. So this is a very dangerous, very divisive ideology, and we treat it anymore like it's a protected religious worldview, but not just protected, but one that others ought to step in line with and support in their words and actions, otherwise face consequences.
Now, these are this gentleman's concern. Now it's being addressed. Trump is sitting. He said, it's in my administration, from his own mouth. You know, when President Donald Trump took office on day one, he has reversed about 78 decisions order that has been signed by the former president Joe Biden. Same day he reversed it. He has reinstated 200 decisions. He signed 1, 2, 3, 4, 500, 195, up to 200. Come on. Then he said, I cannot imagine Joe Biden doing this. I cannot imagine Joe Biden doing this. Biden doing this. Joe Biden cannot do that. Yeah, he actually said that. I mean, he said that he didn't see him doing this thing. And he said, from today, in the United States of America, because we are the eye to the entire world, there will only be two genders as God created in the Garden of Eden. Male and female. That thing that you said that they born me woman. When they born you man, he said, no, me, I don't feel like a woman anymore. I feel like a man. He said that thing to me, Trump, it's a crazy decision. And so, come on, I'm going to kick this out. Coming to my notice, or upon research, there's even a news, and it is true actually, that Elon Musk's child died in this process of transgender.
You know, I was told, oh, Xavier might commit suicide if he.
That was a lie right from the outset.
Incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
That's
so I was tricked into doing this. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah.
All right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
So as Elon Musk, a very good friend of Donald Trump, if they come together, you think say LGBTQ plus whatever, it will come top. It no go come top. The guy is say, no sir, it no go happen. So he cancelled it. Now, Trump has also passed a law that from today, all official documents that must supposed to have gender on it, and as for them, must supposed to have gender, male or female. For the LGBT community, it is X, neutral, X. He said from today, every passport that have the gender portion as X, we have seized it, we have paused it, we have put it to a halt. It not go work in America. It's not going to work in the United States of America anymore.
President Donald Trump's controversial policies have been hitting the LGBTQ community very, very hard. In fact, on Thursday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio reportedly issued a directive ordering his staff to halt all passport applications with the X sex marker. Americans who don't identify as either male or female use this marker on federal documents for the past 3 years. However, with the Trump administration now only recognizing male and female genders, it seems like the existence of the gender-neutral sex marker has come to an end. Here's more from Foggy Bottom.
I, Donald John Trump.
U.S. President Donald Trump's return to the White House is nothing short of a nightmare for the transgender community. Day by day, his administration is rolling out measures to crack down on the rights of transgenders and snatch away their identity. On Thursday, Trump's Secretary of State Marco Rubio reportedly ordered his staff to halt all passport applications in the US which have X written where they're supposed to mention their sex. The marker signals that the person does not identify as either male or female. Now, any applicant seeking to change their sex marker will not be entertained as well. But that's not all. Rubio also directed his staff to use sex instead of gender on federal documents, including passports, visas, global entry cards, and consular report of birth abroad documents. Rubio's order concluded that an individual's sex is not changeable, forcing trans people to use the marker they were assigned at birth. The directive changing millions of lives comes after the inauguration of the new president, where he said the US government will officially recognize only two genders, that is, male and female.
This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based. As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Trump also signed an executive order on the first day of his presidency narrowing down gender identity and imposing biological classification on people who do not want to be perceived like that anymore. Meanwhile, it is unclear that what will happen to the current passports which already have an X marker. But what's clear is that Trump's executive order is dismantling former President Joe Biden's efforts to be more inclusive of America's gender identification. The State Department began issuing the X marker on passports in 2022 after a long legal battle by Dana Zim, a non-binary and intersex US Navy veteran, who sued the government over the gender-neutral marker issue back in 2015.
On Transgender Day of Visibility today, the United States affirms that transgender rights are human rights. We celebrate the achievements and resilience of transgender, non-binary, gender-conforming persons around the world. We recognize their bravery and their hard-fought work for equality, inclusion, and the full recognition of their human rights. We celebrate the diverse expressions of gender and full diversity of gender identities around the world. We also want to highlight, as the Secretary announced in a statement earlier today, the historic milestone the Department has reached in its work to better serve all U.S. citizens regardless of their gender identity. Starting on April 11th, U.S. citizens will be able to select an X as their gender marker on their U.S. passport application, and the option will become available for other forms of documentation next year.
Till now, Americans were not required to match their marker with their gender on citizenship documents, photo IDs, or medical documentation. However, with Trump coming to power again, Biden's fast-moving progressive gender policies have been put into reverse gear.
So Trump has also put hold on all these things. So if you have that passport, it's either you go back to say I'm a male or a female. For those of you who have already removed your breast, I don't know how you're going to do it. You have removed your breast already. But deep down you know that you are a woman, but you say you are a man. And those of you who have taken away your male organs, you know, I don't know how you go and reinstate that. As Trump is reinstating people, I don't know how you will also be able to reinstate your natural gender. I mean, hey, if you are watching me and you belong to the LGBT plus community, you dilute this thing, think about it, share your comments and your views, and let's keep it going. And so, Trump has brought America back to its normal state. So from today, as you and I know, if you're going to the United States, we know male and we know female. This is so great. And so I also want to remind the nation Ghana that the LGBT plus bill is also waiting for the newly elected president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to sign. He's waiting. America has boldly done theirs. We also await Ghana to see what Ghana will do. But the good news is that in Ghana military, Charlie, they are training If you be transgender, you go run. You go run. And so, that's up to you, President-elect Donald Trump. America great again. We'll bring you more updates on this issue. I sign out. Henry Wolford.